Muy bien, estoy grabando esto como algo para ayudarles. So this is something to help you out, para evitar la frustración, aliviar la frustración de, del video, sí, de la semana pasada, to kind of alleviate some of the stress that was felt over this video from last week. I'm going to do a quick down and dirty. For those of you who want a down and dirty interpretation, not a strict translation, but an interpretation. So that means I'm just going for the big ideas, not translating every single word. This is going to be something to help do a walkthrough, something that will go through the majority of the video to give you the big ideas she's talking about. And the reason this was harder to understand is that, as a lot of millennials do, she is really recording for her peers, recording for people who follow her on Instagram, and not thinking in terms of having a teaching moment or thinking about pacing and going through explanations with a lot of repetition to help first-time students. So, okay, I'm just going to do a quick, share the screen, do a quick interpretation, and I'm going to turn her audio way down low, so hopefully it doesn't drown out what I explain in the video. And she starts off, put on my share screen here, voy a compartir la pantalla del video. Y el título dice aquí, cogí un tren a Valencia porque me apetecía comer una paella. I caught a train to Valencia because I felt like eating some paella. And again, the reason for that, why can't you just get paella? You can get paella, but if you get it outside of Valencia, it is not the authentic stuff. It is kind of flash frozen, stuck in a freezer in a heavy-duty plastic bag, grabbed out and stuck in the microwave. So it's not the real stuff hot off the grill, if you will. Okay. So, and remember, we would say on this side of the Atlantic, tomé un tren. I took a train. Okay. When I'm just going to do a quick interpretation as we move along. She starts off with a have you ever question. Have you ever had, again, a craving? Have you ever had a craving? Antojo. Have you ever had a craving for paella?
Y en ese mismo momento hay un tren por 13 euros a Valencia.
And at this moment, she's talking about taking the train. And remember, all those subtitles won't be 100% accurate, but only for a few euros. It's not super expensive. Life is very short. So, así que, so, you got to get on that train.
Hay que subir ese tren. Y claro, subí.
And of course, I get on.
Así que ven conmigo a Valencia porque esto ha sido.
So come with me to Valencia because this has been a real adventure. With its con sus luces y sus sombras, with its lights and shadows, with its pluses and minuses, with its good parts and bad parts. Luz, sombra, opposite ideas. Okay. And she caught a first thing in the morning train to get to Valencia. This is one of those things you can do this as a day trip and get back the same day. That's her objective.
Mira, poco se habla de la humedad.
Look, very few people talk about the humidity here.
En Valencia.
The humidity in Valencia.
Esto, pero es que flipas con la humedad.
A lo mejor, maybe I could just say that you freak out over the humidity. Okay, flipas is a very slang term. Can be either amazed by, love it, or wow, freaking me out. Here it's the freaking me out. That humidity makes you freak out, is what she's saying.
Yo he venido también para escapar del calor.
I have also come to escape, get out of the heat. But this is not, but this, meaning being here with the humidity, is not an escape. But this is not an escape. And all of Spain and much of Italy, and I imagine probably going all the way over to Greece, has been going through a heat wave, much like our Arizona heat wave was this summer. And for those of many of them do not have air conditioning. It is a chore. And of course, add the humidity, and some of you are off in the Midwest in the heat dome now as we speak. So you know what I'm talking about. But she said, yeah, with this humidity, this is not escaping the heat. Okay.
Siento como pegajoso en todo el cuerpo.
I feel all sticky all over my body.
Es que cuando vives en Madrid no te das cuenta que están tan seco hasta que venga.
When you live in Madrid, you don't realize that that's all really super dry. And it's super dry there in Madrid.
A esto. Yo siempre iba
And you come to this.
Galicia y no me parece tan.
And she says, I always go to Galicia. Galicia is the far northwestern province of Spain. And that is also a very rainy, very cool area. And she says, I always go to Galicia.
Húmedo, pero igual
and it doesn't seem so humid to me there. It's near the ocean, so it's more humid there.
Está mezclado con el calor, pero
but that's not mixed with the heat. But esto flipas. This, you freak out. You freak out.
Lo increíble de Valencia es lo verde que es. Hay tantos.
The incredible thing about Valencia is all the green, how green it is.
Árboles en la ciudad y aunque
there are so many trees in the city.
La sombra no te da ese frescor.
Although there is shade, sombra, although there is shade, it does not give you that fresh feeling. Okay. It doesn't refresh you because it's so humid.
Preciosa, con tanta verde. Ojalá Madrid tuviera.
But the city is super pretty, preciosa, pretty cute. It's super beautiful with so much green around us, right?
Tanta verde porque es que
if only Madrid were so green as this.
Es precioso.
Because this is gorgeous. And we may fast forward through some of the clips where there's not much talking. Here she talks about, I had to make decisions with my time, is what she's implying. Normally, a lot of people go to Valencia to take advantage of the beach scene. Yeah. And that's normally where a young person like her would be for a day trip to Valencia. And she says, well, look, as I am not going to the beach, because if I go to the beach, I miss out. I miss out on the paella, meaning I can't do both. Okay. Si voy a la playa, pierdo la paella. If I go to the beach, I miss the paella. I don't have time for the two of them.
Si voy a la playa, hubiera perdido el mercado.
And she's talking about, it's like a lot of times I would say, well, if I went to the beach, then I would miss out on the market. And market day is a big deal too. She'll show a picture. I always miss out on the market. And things close up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. So el mercado, where you would go to grab something to eat and drink, that closes up early. So if you go to the beach, you can't do the other activity. And she's doing the same balancing act, only with a bigger meal.
Así que hoy decidí, en vez de ir a la playa, pues ir al mercado. Y como no voy a la playa,
so
pues veo esto.
I decided to do the food experience rather than going to the beach.
Digo, solucionado. Es que me muero. no sé cómo aguantáis este calor. Es
Me muero, me muero. I'm dying here. I'm dying here. I don't know how you stand this heat. No sé cómo aguantas este calor. I don't know how you put up with this heat. I don't know how you stand this heat.
un calor húmedo. Me siento
It's
que estoy en
a hot
Texas y estamos en
humidity.
julio.
I feel like I'm back in Texas. That's where she grew up originally.
Agosto va a ser
And we're in July, August. Yeah, in that time
peor.
span.
Los que viven
Estamos en julio. She filmed this in July. Estamos en julio. We're in July. August is going to be worse. August will be even worse than this.
aquí estáis tan acostumbrados a esta humedad.
And those of you who live here, those of you guys, she's using the vosotros, those of you guys who live here, you're just accustomed to this humidity.
Cuando vais a Madrid, ¿os convertís en pasas o qué?
Those of you who are used to humidity, when you go to Madrid, do you turn into raisins? Do you dry up because you don't have that humidity when you come to Madrid and you feel like a shriveled up raisin? Yeah.
Es que es tan seco Madrid en comparación.
It's so dry in Madrid in comparison.
Pensando seriamente.
I'm seriously thinking
Inmensa fuente.
I'm seriously thinking about jumping into that fountain, putting myself into that fountain.
Te lo juro. Pero esto
I
me
swear.
ha servido porque ya no voy a quejar.
But this has worked out for me. Me ha servido. This has worked out for me. And notice some of these little things where she uses that present perfect. This has worked out for me. Me ha servido. Literally, it has served me. You're going to hear a lot of these little present perfect because she's talking about everything she's been doing during that day. And in the customary expression of Spaniards, when they talk about what has just happened in the last few hours in the course of that day that you're in now, they tend to not use the pretérito so much, but rather this me ha servido, this present perfect, because they're talking about a very super recent past within the last few hours in the course of this day we are currently in right now. Okay, that's why she's doing that.
Tanto del calor de Madrid. Porque yo
I'm not going to complain so much about the heat in Madrid.
pensé, de toda España, Madrid y Sevilla son los peores. A lo mejor
And I always thought that, Madrid and Sevilla were the worst cities when you're talking about heat.
son los peores porque no tienen playa. Pero
And they're considered the worst sometimes because they're not beach cities. Okay, they don't have a beach.
España es un infierno ahora mismo.
But Spain is hell right now. It's hell, meaning hotter than. Yeah. Okay.
Es un infierno. Bueno, todo el mundo, si somos sinceros, en Texas también hace 110
But if we're going to be honest, Texas is also at 110
grados en mi
110
idioma, no sé, en vuestra,
degrees
45,
in my language. I don't know. In yours, it's like 45, 47.
47, no sé.
That's the centigrade measurement. So that's what she's talking about there.
Es que, tío, let's go.
And here, Plaza de Ayuntament is, this is a title for this place, this plaza. And you'll notice they spell it P-L-A-C with the little squiggly line there. That is part of the Valencian dialect. The dialect of Valenciano in the region and city of Valencia is a subset dialect of Catalan. Yeah. And these are all in the eastern part of Spain. Okay. So you've got Barcelona up in the northeast corner. They speak the straight on Catalan there. And kind of a dialect of the Catalan is a little bit south of Barcelona in Valencia. And so that's why you see the spelling there. Ayuntamiento is like a city hall. City offices that run the city government. So the plaza would be near all the city government offices. That's why it's got that title. I think she's going to get into the food soon. She's going to get into the food, and there's going to be some not super momentous commentary about the music being loud, and she doesn't want to get dinged on YouTube for having music that might be copyrighted. So that's not super central to what you're understanding her main part of this video. He venido, I have come here. Meaning she just got there. He venido, I have come. That comes from venir. He venido, I've come to eat paella here. And I have found this place. It'll do, portions, plates. This is found in the neighborhood of Rusafa. Rusafa is just the name of the neighborhood. Kind of like, you would call a part of Scottsdale Old Town. This is just the neighborhood in Valencia where she is. Es un barrio como trendy. It's a happening kind of neighborhood. Lots of young people there. And she's just telling other neighborhoods it would be comparable with from the Madrid area. So if any people are watching from Madrid, they can compare, it's like this neighborhood we have in our town. That's all she's doing. She asks people to comment on it. And she's talking about the music being kind of over the top, the music being kind of too loud. And now she's talking about ordering rice a la lavanda. A la lavanda is lavender. Paella always is made on a bed of rice, but she's talking about kind of your little appetizer bit that is served ahead of this. And she's going to talk about aioli. Aioli spelled in English, A-I-O-L-I. If you're a foodie kind of person, aioli is a kind of a garlicky mayonnaise concoction. Okay. And this is something that what you see her serving off of her spoon, dipping onto the top of her bread is the aioli.
Alguna diferencia, no sé cuál es. Y creo que en Valencia es típico que te dan el pan con alioli.
And it's typical that they serve the bread with aioli, okay, with this little mayonnaise, but it's a very garlicky mayonnaise topping. And she's talking about her camera dying, and she's got to pull up her hair. So even with the air conditioning, she's dying here because of the heat. Some aiolis, and that is not aviones, it's aioli. Some aiolis are very, very strong, super garlicky, too much so. But this one is super good. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to go with the rice, but and she just loves this aioli. It's a good sign. Okay. Oh, she's timing herself because she's only got a set amount of time to eat. She's got a very short window of time to get this meal in. And generally, they do not serve paella as what we would call supper, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock meal. Paella is usually served in the middle of the day because that's la comida fuerte. That's your strong meal, meaning your heftiest meal, the biggest meal of the day. And so she's got to do this. She's got to eat this, and then she's got to dash for the train to get back so she doesn't have to rent a hotel for the night. Okay. Here's the paella. This is the special paella that is kind of got a crusty bottom. It is kind of a scorched paella, so she uses the term for this particular type of recipe of paella. What happiness. She's really pleased. Oh, and está ardiendo. It's burning hot.
La paella, yo lo llamaba paellero, pero eso no
Um,
se puede hacer en Valencia. He pedido un poco de limón porque me flipa
oh, and she's ordered some lemon to put on this, porque me flipa, because I love it.
el limón.
I'm wild about this. Me flipa, I'm wild about this. See?
Qué rico tiene su socarrat. Mira, mira,
So
mira. Mira
socarrat,
ese socarrat.
socarrat is just the term for this style of paella. And all those little things you see in there are, I think, little seafood bits. But the rice base that forms the bed of this paella gets just scorched bottom with this particular type of recipe. Not all paellas are like this, but this one is.
Muchas gracias.
And she says, thanks
Wow,
very
de
much.
locos.
It
De
was crazy.
locos. Tengo media hora para disfrutar
Tengo media, I got a half an hour to enjoy this.
esta
She's on the
maravilla.
clock.
Puedo hacer una foto con el móvil también.
And of course, as all 20 somethings do, they take pictures of their food so they can post it to their Instagram pages. I am not, I do not do this because I'm old. Porque soy anciana, no, no lo hago. I don't do this, but of course she does because she's in the right age group to do that.
Para que no
So
se
she's
me
going to
olvida nunca.
take a
Bueno, se
photo,
ve mucho
post
mejor
it for
con la
her
cámara, en
friends.
verdad. Enough of the pictures. Vamos a probar esto. Primero voy a echar su limoncito.
Voy a echar su limoncito. I'm going to toss this little bit of lemon juice on it. This is, she's talking what she's going to do to taste this. We're going to.
Wow, wow, wow.
And a lot of this is really just her kind of getting excited, having to dig in with her spoon because of the crusty bottom. And she shows you what it looks like there. Okay, she's super happy with this because she just had a craving for it. And she talks about the spoon really helps to dig this out because of the crusty bottom. It's her favorite part. Let me get through some of this so we avoid some of the music issues, I hope. And she talks about la sepia. Sepia is a cuttlefish, which really, when you look at it alive, doesn't look very appetizing. But Valencia is famous for its seafood, being a coastal town on the ocean front of the Mediterranean. And so typically many different types of seafoods are put into a paella, and she's going to mention some. She's going to mention the cuttlefish. She's going to, and it's the season apparently for that. This is the season when they typically will harvest this out of the ocean. She's also going to talk about prawns, and I forget which other type of seafood is in there.
¿Se escucha?
Se escucha. Oh, she listen because she's emphasizing how crusty it is.
Esta paella es uno de los negros. Es que estoy...
This paella pan is one of the black ones. And at first I was a little bit puzzled with the black, and I thought, doesn't look black. Oh, she's looking back at the pan. There are these pans that they serve paella in look almost like a wok. I think they're shallower than a wok for Oriental cooking, but they have the double handle on each side, kind of thing. Yeah. The only way I've had it has been for a large table of many people. So it winds up being, like, yay, big. But, a personal serving, like a personal pizza, serving is only about that big, right? Yeah. And so when she's talking about los negros, the black, she's talking about the pan it's cooked in. Okay. And they're kind of a shallow pan, and it's a black pan. So essentially it's kind of like a cast iron type pan. Most paella pans tend to be a stainless steel type of pan. So when you're talking, you hear her talking about, and you read the subtitle about negros and de acero. De acero means of steel. So we're looking at like a cast iron type pan versus a stainless steel kind of pan. That's all she's talking about there.
El mejor socarrat, y esto es la paella negra, no es la de acero. Entonces, pues dime en los comentarios si tú sabes hacer paella.
And she's asking people to comment if they're familiar with this kind of paella pan or this type of recipe of socarrat. That's about it. And now she's talking. Oh, gambas are the same thing as camarones. She's talking about prawns and shrimp and the different kinds of seafoods that typically go into this type of paella, since it tends to be very heavy on seafood. Estoy feliz. I feel super happy.
Y de sal está perfecta. Es que no sé si voy a comer todo, pero llevarlo en el tren tampoco lo veo muy lógico.
And she kind of went through this thing of, do I try to snarf this stuff down super fast? I've only got 30 minutes, which is a pretty short window of time to have to eat, because she knows she's got to like dash right out of this into catching her train to get back to Madrid so she doesn't have to get a hotel room for the night. So she's debating, do I take it with? When you see and in the subtitles and hear her use the word llevar, llevar is that idea of to go with food, okay? Takeout. Do I take it out or do I gobble it all down here? And obviously she's going to decide to gobble it down here. So I got to eat fast. Me lo como rapidito. I got to gobble it down fast. I've got to eat it all really fast. But it was my intention to come and eat some paella, so I am happy.
No, yo quiero buena paella. Bueno, pues mission accomplished.
Mission cumplida, mission accomplished. Okay. We're going to fast forward through some of this to avoid some of the music. Oh, this one is a good one to talk about because I couldn't be happier. See, no puedes ser más feliz. Couldn't be happier. Truth is, these days, meaning lately, estos días, these last few days, I have felt, me he sentido. Here's another use of that present perfect tense, meaning recently. I've been feeling kind of in a downer mood. De bajón. Me he sentido un poco de bajón. I have been kind of on a downer. I have felt kind of down in the dumps lately. I don't know how to explain it. De bajón is not super translatable, but it is kind of like being in a funk, being in the down in the dumps.
You're in a funk. Y eso significa que no sé, que no te encuentres bien o cosas.
Yeah, she's trying to explain what it means to be de bajón. De bajón means that you don't feel so hot. No te encuentres bien. You may not feel so great. Las cosas como se acumulan, things kind of build up on you. Yeah. Things kind of pile on you. Llegas a un momento, you get to a tipping point. Yeah. You get to a point where you just feel cruddy. Necesitaba un cambio de aire. I needed a change of air. I needed a change of space, change of scenery, change of venue. Okay. I needed a little bit of paella, and I'll be okay. And I know that I've got to get back. I don't know. Oh, yeah, 30 euros. So her train fare was about 30 euros. So if you ever feel like you need a change of scenery, grab a train, grab a cheap train because they're only about 30 euros. and come out at night, and then you don't have to pay for the hotel. You do this as a day trip so that you don't have to pay for a hotel. Okay, you come out in the morning, you leave at night. And that's what I'm doing, she says. Yeah, I don't know if I should try to finish all this or if I should try to take it out, take it to go. But it's fish. Is it going to turn on me? Yeah, it's fish. Do you take it? Take it out? Is it going to survive the heat being fish? Yeah, probably not. She's deciding that, maybe this is not going to be a great thing to take. Now she is running for the train and it gets very hectic. And she says later in the video that I kind of was trying to stop and film, but I realized my time was so running short. I was going to miss my train. So I didn't have time to record, but she started off saying, pues mira, lo hemos intentado. Well, we've tried. And I feel like I'm going to upchuck because she really shoved that food down fast. Well, I didn't want to throw up on the train. And, if you eat that fast, you're going to feel like upchucking. Lo he disfrutado muchísimo. I have enjoyed it very much. Lo he disfrutado. I have enjoyed very much, meaning having her wonderful meal. Ha merecido la pena. It has been worth the effort. La pena literally means the pain, difficulty. Ha merecido la pena. It has been worthy of, it has deserved the effort. So it has been worth it. Because in Madrid, you cannot find this. And she's talking about the paella. You cannot find this kind of paella in Madrid. And she asks people to comment again, hey, if you have found paella that's as good as this stuff in Valencia, put a comment down. If you're a native person of Madrid and you really know of a place where you can get this, because she'd like to know. If you know some place that makes paella like this stuff you find in Valencia, if it says crunchy and got that nice hard bottom, but nice and soft on the top, I will try it. Se complica la cosa. Things are getting complicated. Okay, and she talks about voy corriendo. I'm going running. I'm taking off running because now the time crunch is becoming more crucial and she's got to catch her train. It just started to rain. Here's complicating factor number 1. Acaba de empezar a llover. It has just started raining. Let's see if we can get there. She's debating, do I try to catch a taxi? Maybe if I just go running? Yeah, I haven't got time to wait around. And she's trying to rush and get there before a storm starts. A storm is threatening, apparently. She's commenting on the cool car that is driving by. Why is cool? What a cool car.
2 hours.
Now, 2 hours later. So this is after her trip is just about done. And Estación de Chamartín. Now she is back in Madrid. Estación de Chamartín is her destination to get back home where she lives in Madrid. And she's got to look for this label in the subway, which is what she's talking about. You look for signs to make sure you get to the right platform because there are trains going to all different parts of the country. And, part of her difficulty is, okay, she's been trying to beat a storm. She's been trying to running. Do I need to get a taxi? I don't know if I'm going to get there in time. And she's going to kind of relate her problems. If you, mira, lo habéis Lo habéis perdido. You guys have missed it. Meaning I wasn't able to film this. You guys have missed what I just did. So now she's going to recap and tell what happened, that she didn't have time to film in the moment, like she did with her food. Hey, you guys have missed it. Oh my God. I have never been so tired in my life.
Te lo juro, te lo juro. Bueno,
I swear to you, I swear to you.
que
Resulta que, turns out that, and she's going to try to explain, and I will kind of condense it because she rambles a little bit, but resulta que, turns out that the place, the paella place, well, I went there at 7:25, and now, I got this 8 o'clock train, okay, yeah, 15 minutes. It was supposed to be a 15-minute walk. It was supposed to be a 15-minute walk. I was going to get there at 7:40. And what you're seeing here is what's on her Google Maps when you tell it to give you a walking route. My kids have done this many times. Oh, turn on Google Maps. So turn it on walking instead of driving. Okay, so she plugged into her phone map what her walking route would be from the Paella place to get to La Estación de Tren, her train station. And hay obras. There are roadwork projects. Obras is referring to roadwork, construction work on the city streets or city walkways. Google apparently does not know about these huge blockages for road work. I didn't know about these. I've got no control. I don't live here. So basically, I just took off running through the city to try to avoid all this mess in the streets. But then I saw it was impossible. It was impossible to get there walking. I grabbed a taxi. I told him that I was in a super big hurry, and he took me to the station, 3 minutes to spare. And then there was a line. Había una cola. There was a line. And suitcases everywhere, security. And now she's going to be talking about how she jumped the line. Salté. I jumped. I jumped the line. So I bet she was not a real favorite in the train station there for jumping the line and bumping people out of line. And I get into where the trains are, and now I don't even know where my train is. But I saw Madrid, Chamartín, and she's confused about which sign to look for to get to her place in Madrid. And I was super confused. And then finally I realized, okay, I have the right platform because obviously that's the sign I'm looking for. I started to run, and the girls are all yelling at her to run. So she really basically scooted in at the very last minute before they had to close all the doors off. If I had filmed, so her original intent was that she was going to try to film walking all the way to the station, waiting in line, getting on the train, okay, all of that. But because everything was shaving it so close time-wise, that was not going to happen. And if I had stopped to film anything, to record anything, I would not have gotten on the train. That's what she's talking about there. It was by seconds.
Es que
that
yo
I
iba
got
por
there
mucho
within
tiempo como una
seconds
persona
of when I needed to be
responsable
there.
y luego me tuve que
And
convertir en
I'm a responsible person, but I had to become Usain Bolt. I had to sprint and do it in record-breaking time. Like Usain Bolt, the champion of sprinting in track and field.
Usain Bolt para llegar, tío. Es que
To
de
get
verdad
here,
ha sido
that's what I
una
had to
locura.
do. I
Yo
had to
le
do a
doy la
sprint,
culpa
and it's
a Google
crazy.
Maps y a Valencia.
And I blame Google Maps. I
No,
blame
o sea,
Google Maps.
Google
I
Maps.
blame
Google
Valencia for
Maps,
putting
por
all that road work in my way and blocking me getting to the train station on time. Yeah, it wasn't going to take any 15 minutes. It was going to take a lot longer.
espabilar. Es que
And
yo imagino que no
yeah,
soy la única. Entonces,
Google
os
needs to
aviso, si
fix their maps to show where the road
vais a
work is.
Valencia y vais andando a la estación de tren, ojito, que no se
If you if you go to Valencia and if you go walking to the station, watch out. Ojito comes from ojo. Ojo means watch out. Ojito. Watch out for that.
15 minutos son
It's
40.
no 15 minutes. It's
Y si
like
no eres
40
Usain
minutes.
Bolt como yo,
And if you're not Usain Bolt, like
pues
I'm
50.
not,
Eso es
well, then you're looking at 50 minutes. Not 15, not 40, but it's going to take you 50.
justo lo que me faltaba para cerrar este día tan
Okay.
random. Ojalá haber grabado.
And this is kind of PC. It's kind of, it's stream of thought. The reason this was tougher for you to understand, she's talking almost like a stream of consciousness thing. She is relating this on the fly by the seat of her pants, probably pretty literally by the seat of her pants. So that's why it was a little bit tougher for you to interpret, but I hope that helped you out and filled in some of the blanks, plugged some of the holes in the Swiss cheese, as it were. Espero que les sirve. I hope it works for you. Okay, vale. Y muchísimas gracias y nos vemos pronto y que tengan buen fin de. Have a really good weekend.